I'm broadcasting, baby.
All right.
I
So
think we're
good
good to go.
afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the RealNex Mastermind series. I'm Jeff Finn, CEO at RealNex, and today we have with us longtime RealNex user, fan, and advisory board member, Adam von Romer. Adam
Hey,
is a noted author, speaker, teacher, and seminar leader. Working with the industry all across the country. He's been a real estate broker for quite some time. I won't give all the years, Adam, but over that time, we'll call it a brief period of time, over $3 billion worth of transactions, and a lot of it leveraging the
yikes.
RealNex platform. So great to, I know when we first started talking, and we just got to know each other, a long time ago, even before RealNex, back in the NAI days. But with RealNex, you used to tell me how you used the what we call now MarketEdge to create
Yep.
BOVs and proposals to win business, how you put together financial analysis to sell deals and differentiate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what you talked about was how everyone has CoStar and some of the third-party data, but how you had your own proprietary data that differentiated you and gave you some secret sauce to win business. So we want to take a deep dive into your best practices and how you can help the others in the RealNex orbit.
Okay. Well, listen, that's spectacular. I'm going to actually, if you don't mind, Jeff, I hope you're seeing my dashboard now.
We
Hope
see
I've
your
got that right.
MarketEdge dashboard. Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I am going to show you, and anybody who cares to listen, the Volve Tech building proposal. Now, give you a little background. This property was being marketed by and they lost the listing because they weren't performing. And I know you and I have talked about this, and it's funny that you and I should be talking about this today. I had a call from somebody who both of you and I know for many, many years, who's telling me that they have build out and how great a proposal it does, but they're like, yeah, but there's no CRM. And I hate having to do things over and over and over again, and reinventing the wheel or redoing stuff. So part and parcel to my process is I like to do a proposal one time. I like to connect it the property in the CRM. I connect it to the deal room and drop all the due diligence materials in that. And that's basically how I run, my business. So, there's other products out there that do something really well, but there's none that brings it all together, like under one roof, like RealNex does. And a lot of the improvements that Tim has made over the last couple of years, I mean, it's so robust. I mean, after we get done with some of our meetings, I sit there and go, yeah, how am I going to get through all that? But the proposal process I use on a daily basis. Say that again.
There was a lot there, no
Yep.
doubt about it. I'm trying to
Oh,
it,
yeah.
make sure you can digest it.
Exactly. It's like eating an elephant, man. You're going to be at it a while, and you want to take little bites. But here's the deal. Here's the Volve Tech building, and I absolutely love throwing things together in this this whatever you want to call it, the wizard, MarketEdge, etc. Because first off, it's really intuitive to put things together. And once you've got it in there, like I can now do a proposal on a like for example, if I want to, I can do a proposal in Hollywood. I can't get rid of that blasted thing. I don't want to leave the webinar. How do I get rid of that stupid thing? Dock control panel to screen. Can you see that, Jeff?
No, you can't see it. So there's that little orange toggle button. You can sort of hit that at the top of the control area.
Because it's driving me nuts. I'm sitting here looking at this box and going, I hope it's not showing up on my screen. But here's the deal. I mean, it's very simple, very intuitive to use. And this is all information that, you're going to get mostly from the property tax records or from the owner themselves. And it's real simple to put together. I mean, I know it looks a little, daunting at first, but once you get the system and the ability to move things in and out, I mean, literally 30 seconds before you and I got on the call, I sent out the OM and then I sent out the rent roll from this, presentation, if you will. And it was just web publish and gone, finito. Yeah, so it's really, really cool how some of this stuff works. Plus, I like the sound of the pages flipping. But you come in here and literally you fill in the basic information of the property. Name of the building, address, city, state, zip code, geocode, whatever, type of ownership, the assessor's parcel number, when it was built, the building square footage. In this case, I don't know why I don't have it in here, but it's 10,753 square feet. You can put in the parking ratios or the parking spaces, the construction type. In this case, this is a concrete block and stucco building. It's 1 story. This is supposed to be a C-class building at best, and concrete twin T roof. So it's essentially a bomb shelter. It's 14 feet plus or minus clear, and you just pop that information right in there. Now the cool thing is, you put that information in there and pop, it puts it right on the map. I mean, just yeah, zim, zam, zoom. You hit hit the assumptions tab, and this is where you really kind of start to build things out. And what's the value of the land? Well, where did I get that? I got that from the assessor's tax records. Annual appreciation, because I'm going to attempt to sell this thing quasi on cash flow, but more of an owner user deal. It's going to be for somebody with patient money or a 1031. So it kind of helps inform where you're going to market and go with this thing. I'll do a 5-year projection, because after that, it's anybody's guess. It's a crapshoot. And discount rates and reinvestment rates, 5% seems to be pretty good right now based on the reports I'm reading. And if anybody has a better reinvestment rate than 3%, they can call me directly and let me know. The other thing that this does, and you've really got to pay attention to this, no bank. And I literally was meeting with a bank today about this deal. Will underwrite anything, that, at least as far as I know, without some kind of vacancy. In this case, the building's 100% leased and occupied, but you have to put in at least an economic vacancy for them to even, take a look at it. So I pop that in there. You go over to income, and this is kind of like the holy guts of the operation. And literally, back on page 1, I put in there 4 tenants. Well, guess what I found when I got to this page? 4 spaces for tenants. I put in each tenant individually, their address, because the building literally sits on a corner lot. The front of the building's got one address, the side has another address. Pop in their square footages, the base rent, which is directly from the leases provided by the owner. And then some of the really cool stuff, for example, is on this drop down, base rent per month, per year, per month per square foot, or per year per square foot. So you've got just about every metric you could possibly need to reconstruct an operating statement if you wanted to, right there. Also, in this case, I have the start date of the lease, I have the end date of the lease, and you can go in and pop in any escalations, you can pop in any reimbursements. So it's really, really going to help you, frame the value proposition of this particular property. Now, in this case, the rent increases are staggered, and it actually worked out to 3.57%. Don't ask me why. And there are no reimbursements. These tenants all basically pay their own expenses, and the landlord covers the water, the real estate taxes, and the building insurance. Tenants carry their own insurance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you pop all that in there. You can also come in here and put in, and this is cool, especially on offices or retail. Excuse me a second. You can pop in here TI dollars. So if your landlord's offering $20 a square foot in TI dollars, you can put that in. If we've got to factor in commissions, we can certainly do that here. And one of the other really cool things is, in fact, I think I drove James nuts when I first tried this. I had a 308 unit apartment building, and I put in the number of units. I thought to myself, oh, geez, I hope I don't have to put in 300 units. Pop over here, click the button. And since most multifamily properties have like maybe 5 different floor plans, all you need to know is how many of each one there are. and you're done. So it's a really, really kind of cool thing about using the proposal. I'll call it a proposal wizard. Here you can throw in additional income. In this case, I'm getting, you know, $50 a month from each of the tenants, or $30 a month from each of the tenants for a water reimbursement. You pop that in there. You can put any number of things in here, and then we go to expenses. And under the expense column, again, you can put just about anything in here you can imagine. You can do a quick analysis, which is just a gross number. If you've got a management fee, you can calculate it based on gross scheduled income, gross operating income, the base rent or rent plus reimbursements. It automatically puts it in the column. Any funded reserves, you can put right in here. And then right here, if you read, it says expense the reserves instead of deducting below the NOI. That gives you the ability to take it out as a direct operating expense, as if it were being paid currently, and it was an actual legitimate expense you were paying to a third party. So you can really play with that, especially like I said, when you're doing your reimbursements after after your NOI, you know, or yeah, your reserves after NOI. It gives you some flexibility there. Here we go with, you know, in this case, $10,000 a year for insurance. It is not reimbursable, so we're not, you know, clicking the radio button there. We've got $5,000 in maintenance. That is reimbursable, but on a pro rata share, and we'll cover that later, I think. Real estate taxes, again, not reimbursable. The owner's taking care of that. And then we've got water of $2,400 a year, and it's not fully reimbursable, but she gets some money kicked back. So our total expense load is $30,594. And back to the TIs, if we were doing any capital improvements to the property, new air conditioners, new roof, et cetera, we can put that all right in there and, you know, just extend that out. The other thing that's really cool about this is because I like to put together my proposal and deliver the OM, which we're not going to do today, but deliver the OM with an actual expression of interest from a lender. So the bank I met with today gave me these rates and terms, and I literally just popped them in here. So you can see that we're talking about a 75% LTV. You know, the downstroke's going to be 468, 750. The debt is 1.4, 30-year AM, 3.75% interest on this particular property. So they gave me the information to bake right in the deal. You whack calculate, and it tells you what your monthly principal and interest payment will be on this asset. So it makes it real easy to put together a professional looking proposal in short order. I usually joke with my new salespeople that the first one will take them a week and make them cry because they have to figure out what goes where. Second one takes probably a day. Third one takes a half a day. And I've got it to the point where in certain markets, because I've loaded the comps in the comps manager, I can do a proposal in an hour. And I mean, I can just smoke it out. And I'm teaching my staff how to do it themselves as well. So once you've got it down, and then you know, a separate aside here, the comps manager I think is tremendous. I don't know of any other product that allows you to store comps and then pull them down again. You know, it's like, okay, we put comps in the proposal wizard. Now we got to put comps back in. We got to put them back in again. With this, the comps are now resident in there. And if you're working a market, it's click, 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 and it populates. It's probably one of the slickest parts of this process.
And you can make adjustments against
Oh
the.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I haven't even gotten there yet, but you can adjust them up, down, you know, the whole 9 yards. The projection tab gives you the ability to look at or make projections. This is the cash flow analysis, and as you can see, you know, this thing's weak based on its current income, but this gives you a snapshot of what this property is going to look like, you know, or underwrite like. And you can go through here and look at the APOD. There it is: income, reimbursements, gross income, vacancy, And right there it is. It's all right there. Now, again, you've got your debt service in here. Um, I think it's down below, or if not, it's on the next page. And it's just, everything's there. The financial indicators, cap rate, gross rent multiplier, net income multiplier, income per square foot, loan to value ratios, all those things that you need to know, or a client might want to find out. You can put all those projections right in. Investment returns, what's it going to look like over the years. I usually like the cumulative lease analysis or cumulative wealth analysis, but not in this case. It's ugly. And then the charts are really, really cool. If you've got somebody who's a visual person, and you can show them, what the debt and the equity look like, or you can show them what the NOI looks like, or what's going on. And again, this is not a tremendous stellar example, but you can even show them, like this one here shows the pay down of cash flow, the appreciation in the asset, and principal reduction. So, if this thing, in this case, if this thing were cash flowing, you'd see a line going, almost diagonally as the wealth accumulates in the property. So these are really handy in the presentation. Presentation, in this case, literally, and this is another beautiful thing about this. Like, for example, I was in here playing around with this today to build a presentation and show my new aide de camp how to make this thing work. And it's fortunate because I kind of pulled stuff out, put stuff in, and kind of scrambled it up. But it's just, literally, I could go back in here, take everything out, and just start all over again, building for properties. In fact, let me do that, Jeff. If I got a minute, am I okay with that?
A minute, let's do it.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, what do I want to do? I want to add in a different column or something, a different, hang on a second, add pages. Let me throw in a divider here. Let's see here. Section page, what do I call this? Let me call this, edit the page. Let's call this financials. Instead of section 3, page 1, we'll call it financials. Hit enter, voila. Now we got our section page in there. Now I'm going to throw in, for example, some of those, lease analysis that we talked about. Pop that in there, rent roll. Throw this in here for, illustrative purposes only, pro forma summary, income and expenses, MASH, preview. And in about 30 seconds, we'll have actually the vast majority of our proposal done. And you can go in and dial this in. You can set up, a section that has your graphs in it. You can set up the pro forma, the pro forma page, which is awesome because it compares and contrasts what's actually going on in the property to what the property could do in this instance. Let's see, it's doing its thing there for a minute. Okay, there you go. There's the proposal we've just labored to produce. Property details, location overview, property overview.
And there's multiple ways to lay out that section divider. You can put images on there. You can make it.
Yeah, here's a property description. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's just, it's nuts. The amount of stuff you can do with it. Here's your pro forma summary, and I'm going to blow that up a second because this is a really impressive feature. Well, I blew it up too much, but here you can take what's currently going on the property under the actual column, and then you can come back in here, literally edit in the page and put in what the market rents should be for this particular property. You can put in like a gross up for taxes, all that stuff, and it'll all be shown at the bottom of the page. Here's, information on the loan. So it's a fairly, fairly robust process. That's why I say it's a lot of, it reminds me of the old Shopsmith Mark V, woodworking shop tool. You got like 17 different tools in one. And that's a
We
lot.
moved up from the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, it's like the Swiss Army knife of real estate analysis and underwriting. Now, I know we've got a little bit of time left, but I want to show you what the full-on proposal looks like. Now, this is also a function of RealNex because you can shoot it out in PDF. For my clients, or my customers that are out of town, I send them the web link, the page that they can flip through just like I just did. But this is the actual proposal that I did for this particular property. Let's see if my machine will cooperate now. I love the little spinning wheel. All right, let's see what we got here. It's not cooperating. Jeff, I apologize, but it's slow as all get out right now.
Yeah, when you're running this and go to webinar, it has a little overhead with it.
Well, you know what? It's a great product, but it's it's difficult to do if you're not getting any cooperation on the web. So here you go. There's our first page. I changed this a little bit because Mike and I are not working on this, but you can add another agent. You can have 2 agents. I think the system goes up to 3 or more. You can change this whole page. I personally prefer the single photograph, but I think we've got the capacity to put up to 6 photographs in it. So it's,
I think we have
got
37 cover pages that come out of the box, and then we can come custom cover page.
Yeah, well, and you know what? They had portrait and they had landscape, and I love the landscape. Yeah, there's your title page or your table of contents. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we got the delay again. All right, here we go. Well, I think here we go.
While Adam's going through this, and everyone's thinking, while we've got a minute, if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to chime in with the question box, and we'll do our best to address them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I did, and you and I talked about this. I did a full day workshop for all the CCIMs in Broward County, teaching them how to use the wizard, because you guys had provided it to us as an add-on to our members.
The member benefit.
And yeah, absolutely. And I spent a day just doing the proposal, but I did everything from comps to everything, soup to nuts.
Why don't you go if you can go to the opinion of value section and see how?
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can grab one real quick to do the BOV. Let me go back in here while we're waiting for whatever the heck's going on over there. Yeah, hang on a second. This is driving me nuts. Let me kill that one. And let me open another one here. Let's see here. Let's see one that, let's see what we got here that's traded. Something that's, there we go. Let me see if I got the BOV tucked away in this one. Okay, here you go. So here's, I was gonna say, I was talking about how I change things around and move it. This is my typical configuration. In this case, I think this was I did this as an owner user building. So basically there wasn't a whole lot of rent roll to put in, but it's got the BOV in it. And let me show you the ePublish the ePublish is the same thing as the preview. This is what the customer gets, when you send it off to them in like Utah or somewhere. In this case, I think this guy was up in the center of the state of Florida. So he opens up his email, clicks on the link, and he gets this.
And by the way, because you sent him a link, if after you sent him the link, something changed in it, you can update the package. He gets the whoever that client is with.
Yeah.
Next time they looked at it, updated numbers. details.
Absolutely. Well, and the funny thing is we priced this at, see, here's the actual presentation that he got in his email. And this is just the way that web link works. You're flipping through the pages, property description, photos, and there they are, full on photos, maps and aerials. And I mean, this is the building. I mean, it's spot on. Our opinion of value. And this is just that section that's set up directly in RealNex. So what we used in this case is we used comparable sales because there's no income. There's an owner user building. And this is literally the income valuation we came up with based on that information. Now, I kind of got a little bit of a leg up because my partner is an MAI. So, it's kind of cheating, I think, but
yeah, that section also, you can put a narrative overview as well as you'd have all the comps, with details and where they're located, pictures and profile, so you can see how they relate to that subject.
Right, and this shows basically what the owner was paying himself. So we used that kind of as a benchmark, and then he sprung another building on us that was connected right next door. So we ended up with a $3.3 million transaction instead of a 2.4, 2.5. This is our proprietary marketing plan. And we put that in for, obviously to explain what we do on their behalf. We show them all the different tools that we use. And I do an abstract here about 26 weeks long. So that's all contained in that proposal. And then we get into our professional bios. Here's my partner, Mike, MAI, eminent appraiser. And there's me in my high school graduation picture. And that's the actual work product that this guy got for that particular, asset. We listed that baby on I'd say we probably listed it on like Wednesday, and 2 Wednesdays later, I mean, we didn't even really get the marketing campaign kicked off. Then we had basically generated an offer and then went back and negotiated it up to like full price. They needed the building. They had a 3-year contract with the port, and they were in the insulation business, as was our client. And zim, zam, zoom, there's, a deal done. I can tell you that I cannot estimate how many times I've walked in and had somebody tell me, how professional the proposal looks, and how it's just a credibility builder, and they're impressed with it. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. If you could go back into the presentation mode there.
Sure.
Because I think what's important to know is that from all that initial setup, with one click, you could have a one pager, which is for your teaser, another, just change it from flyer to brochure to offering memorandum. And there was a question about it. Can you set this up? So in the configuration of your presentation, you can set up your own templates. So when you go to the file,
absolutely.
Yeah, you'd set up your personal.
Absolutely. Yeah, in fact, let me see if I get the right tab here.
So presentation, that's going to set up all of your branding and your standard contact color. You have your photo library. But when you're under file, you can open that up and you can go to your template.
Here's our templates. And what I did with Mike is we created our own proprietary template. And this has literally all of the information contained in this column set up just the way we wanted it. So you drag out the heading, you put in the heading, you drag out the page, and I mean literally, let's pick something. I mean,
just so the audience understands. Once you have that template, you don't need to pick pages anymore because it's going to give you
absolutely not.
That you wanted that template in the order that you want them. Then you can tweak from there. But if you wanted you could have one template for your flyer.
Exactly.
For offering memorandum, you could have sort of
here it is.
Something in between.
Here's the OM.
Any number of alternatives. As you say, you get something different for medical office than retail.
Yep. Here's the OM, and you know what? I just grabbed the one off of the RealNex templates. I went in here and I thought, oh, look at that. Right there's an offering memorandum for commercial property. I opened it up. The only thing I changed was I changed the cover page, and basically everything else was done. Yeah, it just works, you know. Same thing with flyer or brochure. You just click on it. It's you know.
And you
For
could have a
me,
leasing brochure, and you had vacancies in your building. You could get
absolutely.
a flyer that would show the
Yep.
units available.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can do all that. And then, like you said, once you've got it set up, I mean, there's our template. Every time I start a new property, and that's a real hard process. Yeah. Open. Here we go. You ready? Let's start a new property. New property. See if it cooperates. Here's a new property. Let's give it a name. How about we call it something tricky like RealNex example? And I'll show you just how quick it is to create that format. All right, we're gonna call it the RealNex property. And we're gonna select, let's say, so I love industrial. I'm gonna do industrial. Right here's our template. And we're gonna do it with a financial analysis. Click save. It's done. Our template's already set up. Okay, all I've got to do is kind of fill in the information, and all those tabs we talked about earlier, Jeff, they're already in place. I don't have to go back and reinvent the wheel. Right here, they are all stacked up. Sam?
And as you talked about, that basic information could come from your CRM if you already had it in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If the property's in the CRM, it pulls it over. If it's not, you just fill in the blanks. The other thing, and this is the part that I liked in this case, if we wanted to throw in the financials, in this case, you know, all we got to do is you know, whack, add a page, drag it over, you know, drop it, new page, put in here, pick a spot, custom page, financials, type in financials, and then, you know, we're good to go.
So stay here for a second, because I think this is an incredible new tool that's been
Oh,
built.
this.
There's a question about how do you get rid of the white space on there. Some pages. So there are pages that are system created, and those ones that are the property summary and some of the financial reports are generated by the system.
Absolutely.
And others are configurable, where you get to drop in what we call widgets on the page, and you can set up a page in any type of layout, as far as number of, is it a single
There you go.
box, or 4 quadrants or whatever, and then you can move columns and rows to make it fit, and then you can drop in.
There it is. Drag it, drop it. Want to put in a photo?
Maps.
Yeah.
And you can then save that page for use anywhere else. So once you design a page that you like and a structure of a page that you like, use it over and over again.
Yep. And if you want to use that page again, you want to get rid of the widget, voila, it's gone. But the beauty of it is that you've got the ability now to build, you know, your own custom pages if you wanted to. Since now it's trying to ask me to throw a picture in there. I'm not going to go through that, but you can just drag, drop, and done. And this is really cool, because it's just, I mean, listen, anything you could possibly want on there, all you do is drag it and drop it. It's right there. So you can literally pop just about anything in there you want. That's it.
Awesome.
That's the beauty of it. But you know, the other thing,
deal rooms, but I know you use the deal room to track
all the time
prospects, and people see what what files.
Well, you know, the deal room's another entire session, because the deal room allows you to go in and literally put all of your due diligence material. I mean, and I put in the leases. I put in the reconstructed operating statement. I put in fact, this one here, I put in, let me see if I can even find it. Hey guys, don't pick on me because my building's ugly here.
You got a lot of beauties
I
in
got
there.
ugly buildings, I know it.
You specialize. Like, you know, ask people what they, a lot of people say they're generalists, but you are a product specialist for sure.
Yeah. Listen, I do not. Hang on a second. Let me do this. Click. See, this is the other thing. Click, click, click. Let me get rid of as much of that as I can. Get that out of there. I go industrial. Let me see if I can find my glaring example here quickly. All right. Yeah, this was the other building that guy sprung on us. There's a machine shop attached to it. And in the back, they had another 10,000 square feet. It was like we're over there doing the proposal. He goes, oh, by the way, we got another building here too. This one here, this baby here. This was an interesting transaction. But I created a deal room for this. Let me mark that sold because it's sold and closed. And I'll hop into the deal room real quick, and you can see. Go to the deal room. And to me, this is another, like, this is, I don't even know. Back in the day, I used to set up like a Google group and do that. But here, I mean, right there it is. All the docs are right here. So I mean, let's see if I can pull this up. Yeah, there you go. Okay, there's the property tax information. This is a sketch of the property. I put in buyer confidentiality agreements. When I do a transaction and we get it signed, I create what's called a chronology letter, where I send everybody basically the letter that tells them when all the due diligence processes have to be conducted and finished. Clean copy of the contract for everybody. We did, it's like 6 iterations, and we went back and reduced it to 1. The phase 1 environmental, the escrow letter, our cooperating brokers agreement, the original LOI that the transaction got started on. I put in the code, the ordinances and what's allowed and not allowed, zoning uses. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and I've got 1 or 2 in here that are even bigger than this. But now all I do is click, send it to the participants. Here's the guys that had access to it, and you could put, hell, I would imagine you could put 100 people on there if you wanted to. But Mike got everything. Steve, the owner, saw everything. The attorney saw everything. And the only reason why the lender and the buyer's attorney weren't put on here is it's kind of one of those transactions where it's like, yeah, we don't need to see that. Here you go, and it was done. But I think that, coupled with the ability to literally go into your CRM, tie it to a property, or vice versa, have it pull all the information in. I mean, literally right into the proposal wizard. Yeah, it's just huge. And then again, with all the comps,
Good.
I mean,
There was some question about how you use the CRM, and particularly as it relates to this, maybe you can populate your comps as well.
oh yeah.
Bring
Well,
comps in.
here's the comps library.
Yeah.
And like for example, the critical information here. If I'm working in Pompano, I need to see, this was a land deal. All of my comps, I put them in once, and all of the comps are there. So if I'm working, for example, let's say I'm working in Hollywood, I can go up here and say Hollywood, and it pulls up all the properties that I have in Hollywood. If I've got, let's say, a 3,500 to 5,000 square foot warehouse we're looking at, right here's the key criteria. I select them, and voila, pulls it right in. The beauty of this is, you don't have to keep putting them in over and over and over again. You put them in once, and they're pretty much there forever. And I'm now to the point where I'm going back and I'm re-updating some of these because they've sold in the interim, and it's now a new comp. So we're keeping that information fresh, if that makes some sense.
Absolutely.
So It's really, it's really cool because you can put this stuff in here. It doesn't go anywhere. Here's something interesting. Richard Schwartz, the attorney, was in this folder 8 times. He had come to the the box, the deal room 8 different times and looked at the stuff. Mike obviously didn't because he was involved in the transaction. Steve didn't, just by choice. Steve's not a very technologically inclined guy, but it is what it is, And then if I go back down to the proposal itself, let me go back here, see if I can find one where you can see, like here I have 1, 2, what I have like 5 of them that were in the deal room. Let's go back here. Industrial. Try to see if I can find one with a really, really monster deal room here. I'm doing it by memory. Let's see. Let's see. The problem is I got a bunch of them in here. The other thing that I do as my business practice is I don't differentiate between huge buildings and small buildings. I do them all the same way. So somebody who's got a 50,000 square foot building is going to get the exact same presentation that the guy who's got a 5,000 or 500 square foot building is going to get. So I'm trying to find.
Efficiently, everyone can get that level.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think this is what helps me a lot with the, see, I work private party markets. I don't try to chase, the rarefied air of, all that silliness. Here's an interesting case. I don't try to chase that rarefied air of the institutional deals. Never really got that. I'm not a fan of, watching my commission get compressed to, a ridiculous number, and then, having to go through 17 levels of corporate approval. I do the 2 to, let's say, $20 million deals where you're dealing with somebody eyeball to eyeball across the table. And, it's just, that's my business idiom. This is another cool aspect of this. Here's our cover page for this particular transaction. If I don't like the cover page, here we go. I come in here.
Those red lines are just what's editable. They wouldn't show up in the display.
Oh yeah, that just highlights the fields. Let me pull this up a little bit here. All right, get this somewhere where I can actually see it. Come in here, and this is the extraordinary difficulty here. Full page, single picture, poof, and it changes the whole thing around almost instantly. And then, like you said earlier, Jeff, I can go back in and dial in all of that information. What do I want to add? Is there anything I need to put in here? This is the one I was saying about the multiple pictures. Where you can put in 4, 5, 6 pictures, two photographs of the properties. And then to your point, you can drag stuff in, drop it, add another photograph, do basically whatever you want to do. And it's just like I said, it's just a really robust presentation. So if I want to go and look at this one, for example, this is an interesting case because this is a massive building. It's not even closed. It's just a literally big metal shed. It's probably 50,000 square feet. And all they do in there is they bring in rebar from the port and then cut it and shape it and then ship it out to construction sites pretty much all over the country. And it works 24/7. There are guys in there cutting rebar every day of the week. Let me see if I can get this one up here. And this is pretty interesting. But it gives you the flexibility. I've done like 5-unit apartments on here for a friend of mine. And I've done, 308 units on another case. This was, again, this is the building, and this is the corporate headquarters. They took one of the vintage buildings on Andrews Avenue over here, and that's what they're using. So you can see the buildings there, property photos. There's your, your yard, piles of rebar. We're back to the maps and aerials. Where is it? Pop right there. Where's the port where the metal comes in? Right there. So they're literally right by their source of raw materials.
And
Here's
those
the
maps
aerial.
can also be annotated where you can drop in pins of
Oh yeah.
competition or other
Yep.
points of interest, like the
Absolutely.
before.
And that's great. That's great for retail.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing, a store or something. Say, okay, here's your competitors.
Analysis here on this one.
Mm-hmm. There's your sales comps, and they're spotted on the map. There's your rent comps. Fascinatingly enough, they actually have another building in the marketplace. It's right over by this one, and that's their corporate headquarters. Here's your BOV again, and this is right off of the data.
So do you have any
What's
suggestions or question about how do you use the CRM, and or do you really just focus on MarketEdge, and how do you use the
Oh no, I use a CRM all day. Yeah, absolutely. I use a CRM daily. In fact, I was up to visit a guy today about his property. Unbeknownst to me, he had to go to his son's graduation from the Navy up in Connecticut. So I missed him, but all of his information, and this one's going to cook. It's going to bake your noodle if you haven't looked at this hard yet. But yeah, for example, in this case, this is all your contacts, and I don't even know how many I have in here.
Looks like you have 46,980.
That might be.
It's the bottom left corner.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find.
You've met them all personally.
Not exactly. There might be a few duplicates in there too. But here's the really cool thing about the CRM, and I'm not the CRM expert, but this is something I really appreciate, because I'm in the contacts tab. I'm looking up my buddy Rory McCarty. Rory's contact information is all right here. When I click this button or this link, it takes me to their company. Or if I open this record, see if I can pop that baby open real quick for you. I go to links, and there are all the properties that he and his daddy own. And it looks like we got a couple of dupes. But if I want to check out, for example, the 5100 15th Street in Margate, click the hyperlink, and this is driving me nuts. Let me close that one. Voila, we are in the property section. Yeah, and again, you can see that going across the top. When I was in the contact section, it showed the contact. Now we're in properties. This brings up that particular property. And here's a picture of the property. This is all of the relevant information, size, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, year
When you go
built,
back to the top there, that analyze button is where you would push this information. If you're prospecting, if you're business development, and you talk to an owner and he says, she says, you know what, we were ready for a proposal.
Oh, yeah.
Now you can publish all of this into MarketEdge, which Adam was looking at. So now you can put your proposal and your marketing documents together.
Absolutely, right there. And then this one here, click add to comps. I happen to have sold these guys the building, and I was working on getting it pried loose again and trading it. But here we go. Go to links, and it tells me it's linked to their company. If I click here, it takes me back to their company record. The other thing that's really cool, and this is, let me see if I can, let me get out of this a second. If I go into dashboard, because you know, at my advanced age, I have a hard time remembering things. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me go to calendar. I think that's where what I'm looking for. Okay, right there it is. In my calendar, I have events to follow up right here, and it tells me what I have to do, what my action step is, and it tells me that you know, I got to do a second letter follow up with this particular customer. So you set the information. I've got it on my in here, and I've also got it on my. I have my Outlook calendar synced. So if you go to Outlook, you'll see I have like these little, you know, buttons. I've got you know, clients' birthdays in here. This daylight savings time automatically populates. I merged a couple of records, so I kind of screwed myself up. That's why I got 49,000 entries. But yeah, the bottom line is you've got all this stuff right here. You can set it up to remind you to call somebody. You can set it up to take an action step. And you know, there's stuff that we discussed last time that was just, you know, like with the timelines and all that stuff was just way out there. I haven't even gotten to it yet. So there's just a ton of stuff you can attach. Rent rolls, you can attach financials. Here, let's see what we got here. This might be a picture. I'm sure it's a picture. It's a picture of the property. But I could attach, you know, an environmental, a PDF. I mean, literally anything. And you've got it right there. I mean, it's just a huge repository for information. And, you know, I mean, literally my partner Mike was making calls right out of here using the dashboard. We had a bunch for callbacks and follow-ups, and he was calling 20, 30 people a day, just, you know, as they popped up. The other thing
If
you
you don't
got,
mind jumping back into the BOV for a second, a question about
no,
modifying cap rates in your when you're doing your estimation and your
modifying a cap rate. Okay. Let's see here. We're going back to the
when you're
dashboard.
creating the opinion of value.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. Let me think of who we got in here that we can. Let's see. Well, I think I'm gonna use VolveTech again.
And yes, George, we
Or
do
no, you know what?
offer group training. If you want to just talk to your client success representative, sales rep, depending on where you're at, they'll help you get that coordinated if you need it. If
Oh
you want to
yeah.
get at jfin@realnex.com, I can get you pointed in the right direction if you need that.
Well, the other thing is, I don't see him here, but there's if you look, every now and again you'll see a little camera, and the little camera's like, show me how to, yeah, how to do it, and it's really cool. What are we looking for, Jeff?
Modifying cap rates in your
Oh, modifying cap rates. Gotcha. In our BOV, literally. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, you know what? I changed that. I'm sorry. Let me go back and find another one. I changed this just for an owner user presentation. Let me see what else I got up my sleeve. Oh, the other one. I don't know if it's appropriate, Jeff, but this lease comparison and analysis. I did a couple of tenant rep deals, and I got to tell you something, man. That thing is huge. Thing is absolutely huge. Let me see if I can. Let me try this one. I hope nobody's going to call these people and try to list my properties. Let's see here. Presentation. Flying right along here.
And Patricia, we're still working on the upgrade to
There you go.
direct Gmail integration, but we do have the it's a sync genie, so that it actually syncs from Gmail through Outlook to make that happen. If you need help with that, you can contact support and they can get you set up. So we're able to do it as just a two-step and rather than a direct integration right now.
Well, that was Google's handiwork.
Yeah.
Google. Yeah, those guys. So let me see if I got the right page here. BOV. Uh,
I think if you go into edit on that, you know,
right, here you go. So here's the thing. Yeah, talking about the income comparison method. If you
so
want to
just tell the
change the
group what you
cap rates,
did. On the right-hand side, there on each page when you go to, if you want to find anything more about modifying that page, there's an edit page. Before
oh
you
yeah,
got
yeah,
just
yeah.
go, because you
Oh
went there.
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Here, look. Right here you go. We want to change the cap rates used in our analysis. Edit page. Come in here, hit income method, and there's your cap rates. You can change them whatever you want. 7 and 9. In this case, it was a little, a little rough building. The other thing is, and this is what I do. A lot of times, for example, I don't use the investment method on some of these owner user deals. So all I do is click off the radio button and move forward with it. The income method, like I said, there's your cap rates. And the comparison method, you can make all kinds of notes. But here's one of the really cool things. If you go back to the sales comps, hit edit page, and I think you mentioned this earlier, Jeff. You got your sales page here, right? Here's your comps. There's some options as to what you include in the comps page. Like I never have price per acre. Very rarely do I put cap rate in. I do show the map, right? And you can put, this is the one you said, you can put the property name in on the map page as well. That's your little flag. But here's where you can adjust your comps. So comp 1, I've got it marked as average, which means there's 0 adjustment on comp 1. Comp 2 is average. But if, let's say comp 1 was so much better, all I got to do is come in here and go superior, and it automatically will adjust the comp in the sales comp page, and that'll carry through to the BOV. So it's got a number of ways that you can make adjustments in here. And it's just, like I said, it's a very, very robust program. And the first one will take you some time. You got to learn the tool. But once you've got it down, it's just, like I said, it's phenomenal. And I worked for a company, not to be named, Marshall Milchap, and excuse me, I had to clear my throat there. And 20 years ago, I had to show them how to use their own proposal wizard. 21 years ago, and it was clunky. It crashed every time you used it. It was actually running on Excel, and at the time, it was the best game in town. It was the only thing anybody had. And then Tim came out with this, and it's like, yeah, not even close. And I've seen the others, but there's not the integration. There's no ability, like you said, Jeff, to go into the CRM, find the property, hit analyze, and open it up. There's no deal room built into them. It's a separate section. And certainly the capacity that I see to link and everything, and the back and forth, it's just, to me, it's just awesome. This is a printing plant, and this is a proposal on essentially a 10,500 square foot printing building. You can see that, here are our interior pictures, and I could put 30 pictures in if I wanted to. And this is any bit and every bit as good as anybody else's proposal I've seen. So, and I've been at it for
And with the
again.
custom pages, in the way we're able to do it now, a lot of people that were
Oh
working
yeah.
in design or other things that were very hard to build, and
Oh,
you needed your marketing team, you can build incredible graphic and
absolutely. Well, look at this.
very
Look
quickly.
at this. This I popped in myself. I can't remember whether or not we put in my my pea soup green company color. I think I may have had James do that for me to customize my template, but every single thing in here is branded. Yeah, and it's all there. The marketing plan, the bios, the how great we are pages. Here's one with a header and the footer on it. And it's just a really, really, really robust
And
program.
if you need a disclaimer, you can add that or choose to turn
Oh,
it off.
absolutely.
It can be
Well,
personal.
that's the other thing. The custom pages. The custom pages are phenomenal. Let me see if I get lucky here, and if I can find this
One
this
closing
multifamily.
session, Adam, because I know you've got so much to
Oh,
share, but we're up on the
oh no, no, no,
clock.
no. Understood. Done.
Perfect.
Listen, thanks for having me. Thanks for
That
thinking of
went
me.
fast. Lots
Yeah,
of
it went a whole lot faster than I thought it was gonna.
we appreciate you taking the time and your loyal use of RealNex over the years and how you pushed it and pushed us to keep making it better. And thank everyone in the audience for joining us today. And we'll be back December 16th with Nick Miner. He's going to talk about his journey from the desktop CRM to the cloud and some of the transitions that were beneficial and the value add made and gained in that process and how he's
Well,
using the
I'll
cloud.
be watching that for sure.
There are a lot of legacy REA people out there that are ready to make the move, and yes, all the future's all in the cloud, folks. So come with us and take the journey and the step forward. So appreciate
I'm
it. Hope
in.
you all have a wonderful rest of the day and a great Thanksgiving. Let us know if you have ideas for future sessions, and if you've got something to share for a future session, we'd love to talk to you and host you in a future mastermind. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, hey,
Thanks.
listen, happy holidays to everybody. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.